It's been nearly a decade since the release of Mad Max Fury Road, and even though it was well received by some, a lot of other people felt, man, there's a lot of focus on Furiosa in this movie and not as much about Mad Max. Well, a decade later, in 2024, they decided to just go all out, not even pretend that a movie is going to be about Mad Max and just center it on Furiosa. Furiosa, a Mad Max story. And you would think that after all this time, Hollywood may have learned their lesson, but unfortunately, they did not. Despite the fact that the mainstream media was so excited that Furiosa was getting her own standalone movie, Furiosa's hard-won feminism. The iconic character could have gone terribly wrong. Here's how she survived. Well, if this isn't terribly wrong, I don't exactly know what is, because Furiosa right now is flopping incredibly hard. Over Memorial Day weekend, one of the biggest weekends for movie releases traditionally, and it's bombing. Not just bombing, but historically so. Furiosa and Garfield, yes, the Garfield movie that virtually no one even knew was coming out on Memorial Day weekend, is virtually neck and neck with Furiosa over Memorial Day. And whichever one officially does win, it's going to be the worst Memorial Day opening we've seen in 3 decades. Furiosa and Garfield lead lowest Memorial Day box office in decades. Movie theaters are looking more and more like a wasteland this summer. Neither Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, nor the Garfield movie could save Memorial Day weekend, which is cruising towards a 2-decade low. Well, you say 2-decade, you really mean 3, because it's the lowest in 29 years, almost 30 years. And that's not even adjusted for inflation. Furiosa, the Mad Max prequel starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, claimed the first place spot for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend with $25 million. Warner Brothers wait until Monday to release its 4-day estimates, which is today. The Garfield movie, animated and family-friendly, was the other big new offering. It's claiming #1 over the 4-day holiday weekend with an estimated $32 million. Aside from Memorial Day in 2020, when theaters were closed, these are the lowest earnings for #1 movie over this weekend in 29 years since Casper earned $22.5 million, not adjusted for inflation, in 1995. Guess what? You adjust that for inflation, and that is well above these movies that are currently out this weekend. Garfield battles Furiosa at Memorial Day weekend box office with $32 million debut. Now, the people that did give this a chance, I've heard mixed things. I've heard some good things. I've heard some bad things. But the truth is, when it comes to Hollywood, especially when it comes to these girl boss movies, people are not even going to give it a chance at this point. Especially not a character who's set in a world where, you know who people want to fucking see? They want a Mad Max story. They want a Mad Max movie. Crazy that a Mad Max franchise, people want that fucking character to be present. What do you think over Memorial Day weekend that if they brought Mel Gibson back to do an old Mad Max movie, what do you think that would have done? Probably a whole of a hell lot better than what Furiosa has just made. In worldwide, it's not any better. Furiosa opening action muted with $59 million global debut. Why didn't it strong-arm the marketplace? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because, as we've stated time and time again over the last 5 years, woke Hollywood is dying. People are no longer going to give movies like this a chance because they've been burned too many times to count. They're tired of it. They have better things to do. People are not going to give Hollywood the same benefit of the doubt that they gave them for years and years and years. And they're all out of excuses. They can't say, oh, COVID is keeping people away. They tried to use that for 4 years. You can't say that anymore. If there is something that people get excited about, they're gonna be willing to go out and give it a chance. That is true. We've seen that. You can still have billion-dollar movies. We had a few last year. You can still have massive successes. But when people feel it's going to be a feminist agenda, it's going to be another girl boss movies that they roll their eyes at, they're not going to watch. And simply the idea, like, think of what Mad Max Fury Road did 10 years ago. Even though some people enjoyed the movie, a lot of people complained that, wow, it seems like it's supposed to be a Mad Max movie, a lot of focus on Furiosa. That movie underperformed significantly. $370 million worldwide on a $150 million budget. Now, back when they actually sold DVDs, you could justify maybe there's a chance it might have crawled to break even. But Furiosa has a $170 million budget. This is a movie that, in all likelihood, needs to scrape around $500 million at the global box office just to break even. Why would you do that? Why would you set yourself up like that? When people didn't even show up when they thought it was going to be about Mad Max. They know this one's not going to be about Mad Max. They know it's going to be completely focused on Furiosa, and people are not showing up. We don't have the official Monday numbers as I record this video now. We might in a couple hours, but it's not going to change much. Both these movies are probably going to make somewhere around $32 million over a holiday weekend. So that's including the Monday. If you just look at a normal opening weekend, so the Thursday night openings and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, look at this shit. $25 million for Furiosa, and Garfield right behind it with $25 million. The good news for Garfield is that Garfield only cost $60 million to make, like a $50, $60 million budget. So it can survive something like this. This is not a bad opening for something like Garfield because they didn't pour that kind of money into it. But when it comes to Furiosa, it's just another indication that woke Hollywood is fucking dead. And a lot of people in the industry have not wanted to admit it, but this is pathetically bad. The worst opening in 30 years on Memorial Day weekend belongs to Furiosa. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.